Hi, Clint here, Crimson Landscape, here to talk about your post-installation care. All right, just if you don't know who we are, Crimson Landscape is a landscape design and construction company based in the Dallas area. Our core expertise is new landscape installation, outdoor living installation, irrigation, uh, things around that type of construction activity. Our employees are experts at landscape and outdoor living installation. So when our guys go out and install plants, it's guys that are trained in installing plants. Same thing with drainage and irrigation, etc. So we take pride in our work, and we try to have our guys who actually execute the work experts in the field. For that reason, you'll find with your warranty issues with any plants is our failure rate for warranty or plants is quite low. It's a rarity we have to warranty plants for a couple reasons. One, our guys are experts. Two, we overly prepare the soil to make sure the ground is tilled and aerated correctly, to make sure we install the proper base material in the soil to make sure it's ideal for the plant application. And lastly is we invest in giving you information you need to make sure you can make decisions on watering and if it makes sense to hire us for post-installation care. Okay, so with that being said, let me go into our post-installation documentation. Let me pull it up real fast. Give me just a second. Okay, so what you're going to get from us is you're going to get this agreement, or it's not agreement, it's just a document that outlines post-installation care, and it goes through what to expect, communication, timelines, the best way to get hold of us, your role during the construction process. We highly recommend you purchasing this moisture stick. It's only 15 bucks on Amazon. It goes through the post-installation care process, importance of mulch, weed killer. What else? What things need fertilization? Basic watering times based on the type of year, and the methods of watering. So you have drip, you have a spray head, you have an MP rotator, and you have a traditional rotor head. So it kind of goes through what typical watering time looks like for those items. Then we make you initial down here that you understand that overwatering is the number one killer of new landscaping. Then post-installation care, it tells you if you got grass, approximate mow heights based on the type of grass, some weeds you're going to run into. Nut sedge is going to be super common here in the Dallas area. You can pick up something online from Amazon called Certainty. There's some, I think, nut be gone. There's a couple things you can get on Amazon, or you can go to domyownpestcontrol.com, or you can hire us to take care of it. There's certain things where weeds you don't pull, like nut sedge you don't pull, you need to spray it. If you have one of our smart hunter controllers, then we tell you, or this video explains basic operation of the hunter controller. We highly recommend you always buy one of these as part of our installation because it gives us access to it and make sure you set up the programming correctly. If you have one of your own controllers you're happy with, no big deal. This is just the one we recommend. Then down here, it's concrete. I'll skip that. Then down here, which it doesn't show here, I zeroed it out because we don't give our prices online. But you can buy a post-installation package. Essentially what that is if you want to pay us to come out. We include the very first inspection for free. So we do the landscape. We're all said and done. We come out a week later. We check everything, which I'll go through in a second. Then if you want to buy additional inspections, you can have us come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 times if you want. But generally, we recommend anywhere from the silver to gold package. If you have a ton of plants and you have a big property, I would definitely go with more. Or if it's the heat of summer or it's cool winter, I would probably go with more, just because the water, the program needs a little bit more manipulation to make sure the plants are being watered correctly. This kind of goes through some basics on smart controlling and offers some additional services that we offer: irrigation inspections and concierge services. Irrigation inspection is going to be, we recommend generally after 90 days. We ask you to, we encourage you to hire us to come out and triple check all the irrigation after a new installation, or at least once a year. 3 times a year, I would say, is optimal for residential. 4 times a year is probably a minimum for commercial. But at a minimum, at least once a year, have us come out and inspect your irrigation. Then concierge services is basically to have us come out and remulch, check drainage, light tree trimming, light plant cleanup, and that's something we charge based on the service. Okay, then we remind you that, hey, number one killer of plants is overwatering. Okay, let me pull the other stuff back up. Give me just a second. Okay, so this is a landscape we just installed. So let me go through the next image. We use this little doodad here, that moisture stick I showed you. So after we install new plants, we'll heavily water everything to make sure we put moisture back in the ground. Sometimes if it's the heat of summer, we do prep. We take the top layer of soil off, we haul off the trash soil, we bring in new sandy loam compost mix. Sometimes that soil comes dry or the top dries out, so we're trying to put the moisture back in the soil so the base layer underneath the plants, the base layer underneath the grass is nice and moist. So we hit that point. Once we hit that point, we cut back on watering. Here's an example, one that we just checked this week. It got a ton of rain here in the Dallas area this week, so that's why this is showing overtly wet. So based on this wet status, then we adjust the programming to make sure we don't overwater. Plants generally like to get wet, then for the most part dry out, not dry out completely to like dry dirt, dust type, but just they get wet, they take the moisture they need, they dry out a little bit, then again you get them wet, they take the moisture they need, etc. Grass is a smidge different, but for the most part you want everything to get wet and dry out. Alright, here's where it's real wet again. This is again another location. This is a separate location from the first image we took. So it's important. This is the stick we use. You certainly can buy this for 15 bucks on Amazon, but this just tells us a story. So around the moist, around a 5 is really, really good. Obviously 10 is bad. Then of course you're down to 1 or 2 is bad. Okay. So this is a text a client sent us. We installed this one. I think it was sometime in spring. Sorry for the terrible picture. It's a text. But you can see this area right here. You can see how the plant, this grass area and these plants are struggling. So I just want to emphasize the importance of post-installation care. For this client, we did one post-installation care. Then after that post-installation care, a couple months later, they were having some problems. So they had us come back out and do a full check of their irrigation system. And when we came out, we found the plants were crazy dry in this area. Another picture, it was crazy dry, as you can see. And then we found the head was actually clogged. Or correction, the nozzle and the shrub riser was clogged. This happens. The installation team didn't catch it when they did the install. But when we sent out our irrigation expert to do a full assessment 3 months later, they found it. So this is why we emphasize after 90 days, it's a good idea to have us do a full irrigation check. Because if there's some sort of debris or maybe the coverage ain't right, maybe a head or nozzle is loose or something, it's good to adjust that to make sure the coverage is optimal. Especially in the heat of summer here. If it's winter and spring, you're probably okay, but the heat of summer, the even distribution of water is so important. Okay, this is the opposite. So this tree died from being overwatered. So I believe this client did not have one of our smart controllers, so she was controlling the programming herself. And I don't know if she overwatered it. It was a super crazy spring. We got a lot of rain. Ultimately, the tree died. It got too much water and died. This is a rarity, but when it does happen again, the number one killer of any new plant or landscaping is generally always going to be overwatering. And it's typically overwatering by the client. All right, so as part of our post-installation inspections, again, when we come out that next week after the inspection, this is our first post-installation inspection for this particular client. And what our team found was the nozzles needed to be adjusted because they were overspraying and hitting the house. So the construction team will install it. They'll make the adjustments on site. Then the irrigation team will come out and make their tweaks. And a week later, the irrigation team came out and found this. So it happens. That's why that post-installation inspection is so critical for us to make sure we have even coverage and make sure we're not overspraying the house or windows or causing any damage to your property. After that one post-installation inspection, we give you a high five and we say best of luck. We appreciate your business. Again, you can purchase additional post-installation inspections, so we'll check things like this again as many as you want. It's price per visit. Okay, if we do need to make changes to the irrigation system, this is how we do it. If you have one of our smart controllers, you can see this technician logged in on 9/1/2025, made the adjustments. He set up on the cycle and sowed watering, so it waters through twice. And the technician put the date he made the changes, and he put his initials so we know who made the changes. If you don't have one of our smart controllers, we're going to do it manually. The one thing we do require our technicians to do is they do have to take a picture and post it under each client's account when we make adjustments. Before they leave, they have to take a picture that we left the controller in the on position. So that's what happened at this house, and that's what happened at this house. All right, the last thing we check as part of post-installation care is we check lights. We sell a ton of lights, so we go through and check to make sure the light system is functional. We make sure the cords are tight and there's no drama with the lights. Okay, after the post-installation care period, let's say it's a year later, just important. A couple key things that you have to do is, or I say 3 key things, is one, make sure you're having us come out and check your irrigation. Critical. I covered that. I think I beat that to death. Second is, as weeds pop up, you pull the grass or weeds as needed. Spot spray as needed to keep weeds out. This actually is a Bermuda infestation. I'm guessing seeds landed in the landscape bed in this median because they became airborne. It landed in there. One piece of Bermuda took off, and next thing you know, the whole landscape bed's covered with Bermuda. These are supposed to be Mexican feather grasses we installed a couple years ago. This is a picture I took yesterday, and you can see what happened. So again, post-installation care is critical. And the last bit of it is this is nuts edge. Once it gets in there, it's tough. You have to spray. Nuts edge you can't pull, you have to spray. So we always recommend, again, irrigation checks, spot spray weeds as needed, hand pull weeds as needed. You can have us come out twice or 3 times a year to trim landscape up. Then you want to mulch at least once or twice a year, depending on your needs or application. One thing that sometimes that we see other companies do is they over install mulch. So once mulch is 4 inches thick, we generally, what we'll do is when a client asks us to remulch, we're going to take out some of the old mulch that hasn't broke down yet, then bring in the new mulch. What we don't want is to put in too much mulch. If the mulch is too thick, it will kill the plants. So 4 inches is about right, and you don't want to stack the mulch up next to the root ball of the plant because it could just kill it. Okay, so that's it for this. Let me go back to this little picture here. So again, that's kind of a high level of post-installation care. If you have any questions or concerns, or you want to find out more information about our company, you can reach out to us at crimsonlandscape.com. Thanks.